Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Kitchen Table Meta. Now this week, for the spoiler reviews, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing 3 videos, one video for leaders, one video for battle cards, and finally a video for extra cards. Now in this video, we're going to do the analysis for extra cards. And I thought this would be a little bit better of a video, a way to watch the videos, just 3 smaller videos instead of one big long video. But let me know in the comments section which format you like better, and I'll definitely start doing it that way. So let's jump into the extra card review. Again, I love these spoilers. I always get so excited when they come out, these extra cards are really neat, so let's talk about them. First up, we have Cell Absorption, which is a 4-cost extra that says active main, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in the drop area. Now this is essentially Raging Lifeform Bio Broly's Evolve ability, but it's on a card for the same cost. Now, I think that's really neat, and I think this card could see play in the hand destruction deck because of that. It's a little bit more consistent. You don't have to worry about protecting your Brolys. You can literally just play this card, discard 2, and then pass your turn like you normally would. Now, the downside of this card, though, is it doesn't have a body, right? And since the Raging Lifeform Bio Brolys do have a body, even though you have to jump through a couple extra hoops to get that effect to work, it is stronger because you have that double strike, 20,000 double striker ready to go. I do think the card is very good, but I do think it's a little expensive, and I think that maybe 4 was a little too expensive for this ability. If it was at 3, I think there could be an argument to maybe shift the hand destruction deck into more of an extra type deck where you discard with extra cards and then the big Brolys later in the game. Also, the fact that this is an extra card, also hurts the hand destruction decks because they already struggle in the combo phase. They already, it's really hard for them to win combos, and so adding, 4 more or even 3 more discard cards into their deck is just going to make it even harder for them to win those drawn out combo phases. Now, I do think this card will probably see play. I do think there's probably a deck available that can take advantage of this, plus Lifeform Brolys, and just kind of snowball into discarding a lot of cards. But there's a lot of hate for that style play already in this set, and I expect us to see more going forward. And so for that reason, I am going to give this card a 1 star. Okay, so moving on, we're going to move on to Enrage Gohan Awakening. Now this is a 2-cost, 2 green threshold extra card, and it says counterattack, place 1 card from your hand in the drop area, choose one of your opponent's attacking battle cards and KO it. And so essentially this is the second counter for green, and it allows you to, instead of stopping the attack, you just kill the person that's attacking you. It's a very strong effect. It's a very it's a good card, especially for the more control heavy decks that want this kind of effect. Also, it's worth noting that the KO effect has no limitations, right? It's not like KO 3 or less, or something like that. It's literally just KO the person that's attacking you. So that's really strong against a lot of the higher drop cards that we see, a lot of the finishers that we have to play against. However, the downside of this card is I do think it's really expensive. At 2 energy for this type of counter is kind of awkward to keep open early game, because you're wanting to play your as a control deck, you're wanting to play your objections, you're wanting to play your ramp cards, or your blockers, you're wanting to get a little bit of a field out, and then late in the game it's pretty obvious that you're holding this open. And so and again, it's one of those cards where I think your opponent can really play around this card by just attacking with the cards he doesn't want you to KO, or he doesn't mind if you KO, and his leader card, and then keeping the big threats open, waiting to play the big threats until you have you don't have 2 mana open, or you've already spent 4 of these cards or a couple of these cards. So this card's pretty easy to play around, but the upside is pretty big, and so for that reason I am going to give this card a 2 star. Now again, I'm not super excited about this card, and I do think that if you want to say this is a 1-star card, I wouldn't argue with you, but I do think there's maybe enough niche situations where this card might see play, and again, it is a powerful effect. A 2-cost kill spell is nothing to just laugh at. So that's it for the Enrage Gohan Awakening. Moving on, we have another really cool, flavorful card, which is Son Kamehameha. Now this is a 1-cost, active main, choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost larger than or equal to the opponent's amount of total energy and KO it. And now, so what this means is that if you have 3 energy, right, then I can kill, a 3 energy threat, because that is equal to, or, if you play, if you cheat out a card, so if you play out like a 5-cost card on turn 3, I can kill that card as well, because you know, it's higher than your current cost. Now, the problem with this card, and why I think this card isn't quite as good as it looks like on face value, because the face value looks like just a one-drop killer card, which is extremely strong. However, it's not quite, it doesn't quite play out. The limitations of this card is unfortunately how you kind of play the game. And I hate cards that the downside is just your opponent playing the game the way you're supposed to, because I feel like that's too much of a downside. It's essentially just unplayable at that point. And so what I mean by that is, you know, if you just wait a turn before you play out a card, then this card can't kill that card. And so I mean by that, like you take a card like Beerus, the 7-drop Beerus, a very strong, powerful attacker. If you play him on 7, this card destroys you, right? But most of the time, you never play Beerus out on 7. You always wait until 8, so that way you can have a counter open, or, you know, be able to use one of your 1-cost combo cards to survive the turn. And if you do that, if you play to that rule, which is just a fantastic way to play the game, then this card is just immediately countered. And so because of that, I think the card isn't that good. Now, where this card does shine is, again, off of cheating stuff out. It's good against the cell evolutions. It's also good against the Goku that's untaps mana, because a lot of times he will play cards out on the turn that he's supposed to. He'll play, like, you know, a 5 out on 5 and then attack and then, you know, ready his energy, and that gives you a target to kill. But I feel like this, other than that, those niche situations, this card really just isn't quite as good as it looks, because it's so easy to play around. And because of that, I am going to give Son Kamehameha a 1-star. And so moving on, we have the final extra card for the set, which is really cool to me. I mean, this kind of shows you that I actually think that green is going to be the only color that gets field cards. They got a field card last set that kind of focused on one leader, and they got a field card this set that focused on one leader. So I'm, you know, sensing a theme here. And this card is Cell's Birth. And what this card does is it's a field card. And if you're not familiar with field cards, how they work is you place them into play and activate this card in the battle area. It remains in the battle area until you activate another field card. When you do, place this card in the drop area. And so essentially you play them out, you play this card out, it stays there. Currently nothing in the game can destroy a field card. And it stays in the battle area until you play another one. Actually, that's not true. I'm sorry. It does stay there until you play another one. But Broly's Awakened side can actually destroy a field card. It's very kind of a loose thing. It doesn't directly kill it. It's just you have to sack something that's in the field, and I'm sorry, in the battle area, and this card is included in the battle area. So it does affect. Broly's Awakened side will affect this card, but that's not really relevant since this is how we, you know, you'll take advantage of this card before that happens. Anyway, so the permanent effect of this card is if your leader card is Cell, reduce the energy cost of all Cell in your hand by 2. That's awesome. That's super powerful. And then auto, when you play Cell, place this card in your drop area. And so this is essentially a little pseudo ramp for the Cell line. And so as long as this card's in play, you pay 1, play it, and then your next Cell costs 2 less. And so you're essentially paying 1 energy for 2 energy. So it gives you essentially 1 energy 1 time, which is a powerful effect. And I could definitely see this getting played in the Cell leader decks that are trying to take advantage of the Union Absorb ability, which I think is really neat. Now, I don't think this is an overpowered ability. I think it's very balanced. I think the fact that you're spending 1 energy for 2 is very, you know, on curve. It's like, you know, what we expect. So I don't think it's like, you know, wow, bonkers broken, but I do think it's very good. And I think in that Cell deck, we'll definitely take advantage of this card because it's a great turn 1 play. It's a great, you know, just first turn play this out. Now, it is a little bit of card disadvantage, you know, because you are playing this card out to play another card out, but Cell's Awakened side really makes up for that. But again, using this card plus Cell's leader ability, which is discard a card in your hand, kill KO a battle card that's 3 or less, that's going to add up quickly, by the way. That's a lot of card disadvantage, and it's going to add up very quickly if you don't have a way to quickly awaken. But once you do, it kind of fixes all those. So that's the one downside of this card is, remember, you know, it's going to be a little tough to use with Cell because you might run yourself out of cards very quickly. And so, again, with all those negatives, all the positives, I still think this card's pretty decent, and I'm going to give it a 2-star rating for those Cell-type decks, and I really expect this card to have a place in the Cell decks. All right, guys, so that's it for the extra cards. Again, let me know in the comment section how I did. If there's any ratings you guys don't agree with, if there's something I missed, maybe I got one of the rulings wrong, let me know. I love talking to you guys about these cards. I'm very excited. It just makes me so happy to have all these spoilers each week and talk to you guys about them. Again, guys, remember, there will be no videos on Saturday and Sunday. I always take those 2 days off to kind of focus on the channel, get stuff ready for the next week. And so I'll see you guys here next Monday for the Meta Monday, which I'm not 100% sure what topic I'm going to do yet. So keep an eye on the Facebook page, and I'll probably have that topic up before the video goes live. So thanks to you guys again so much for watching. Thanks so much for all the support, and we'll see you guys Monday.